"You're outdated. We're done here," the CEO hissed. I nodded. "Understood." I didn't raise my voice, I didn't blink. I watched the reflection of his mouth finish the word "done" in the glass wall behind him. That was the moment the retirement trust activated its voting rights. He didn't hear it click. No one ever does. By Monday morning, the board convened an emergency meeting. The agenda had one question: who just fired the person who owns 76% of the shares? But that comes later. Betrayal always starts at home. I stood on my mother-in-law's marble threshold with my hands empty and my head bowed. I told her I'd been deceived. I told her the accounts were drained, the guarantees called, the house mortgaged twice without my consent. I told her I was bankrupt. She smiled like a blade finding bone. "So the prodigy bleeds," she said, and laughed, sharp, triumphant. She listed my failures like a menu. She told me to sell my watch. She told me not to stain her rugs with desperation. The door closed hard enough to rattle the chandeliers. I didn't flinch. I counted the seconds until the echo stopped. The housekeeper, Rosa, watched from the service hall. She had worked there longer than my husband had been alive. She met my eyes, read the silence, and nodded once. That nod was worth more than money. She took me to her apartment above the garages, fed me soup that tasted like patience, and asked one question. "Do you want justice," she said, "or revenge?" "Justice," I said. It was true. Revenge was just the delivery system. My marriage had been a ledger of small kindnesses and larger omissions. I'd trusted the family's foundation, the trusts wrapped like lullabies around our assets. I'd trusted my husband when he said his mother wanted me safe. I'd trusted the CFO who smiled too often. Trust is expensive. I'd paid in advance. The first sign was a missing signature on a refinancing document that carried my name. The second was a wire confirmation routed through a shell I'd flagged years earlier and then forgotten. The third was the way my husband stopped meeting my eyes when the news scrolled red. Pain turned into pattern recognition. Pattern recognition becomes a plan. I slept on Rose's sofa and worked like a monk. Surveillance without spectacle. I pulled emails from cold storage. I matched timestamps to calendar entries that never happened. I traced the foundation's bylaws back to the clause nobody reads, the retirement trust, seeded decades ago by a man who feared his own children more than markets. Voting rights dormant until a trigger, termination without cause. I let them fire me. I let my mother-in-law believe I was ash. I let my husband rehearse grief he didn't feel. I let the CFO sign one more paper, neat as a confession. By Friday, I had affidavits. By Saturday, I had proxies. By Sunday night, I had the room. The boardroom smelled like coffee and fear. When they asked me to leave, I slid the trust documents across the table. No speech, no smile. The CEO read the first page, then the second, then swore without sound. "Understood," I said again, because repetition matters. The vote took 6 minutes. The fall took seconds. Power is quieter when it moves correctly. My mother-in-law fainted the next day. She'd been holding court, dispensing sympathy like favors when Rosa cleared her throat. Rosa never interrupted. That's why everyone listened. "The trust," Rosa said gently. "It's activated." My mother-in-law asked for water. She asked for a chair. She asked, "Who?" "Her," Rosa said, and pointed at the door. I stepped in. Not triumphant, just accurate. I laid the board resolution on the table. I laid the forensic report beside it. I laid my wedding ring between them and slid it back toward her. The room tilted. Her knees buckled. The sound she made wasn't dramatic. It was human. I didn't touch her. My husband tried to speak. I lifted one finger. He stopped. He always did. "I came to you honest," I said. "You taught me the cost." After the ambulances and apologies, after the lawyers found their voices again, I went back to Rose's apartment. I packed my bag. She hugged me once, fierce and brief. "You were never bankrupt," she said. "You were patient." I took the stairs. Elevators are for people in a hurry. Now I run the company they tried to steal, and the foundation feeds the people it was meant to. I don't attend galas. I don't raise my voice. I keep my confessions private and my moves public. Betrayal taught me this: silence is not weakness, it's inventory, and I always know what I own.